Majo John Madden, and I'm in Vega de la Torre. Is a small city of about 18,000 people in the metropolitan area in central eastern Mexico along the Gulf Coast, about 2 hours north of Veracruz. And I've been here for 3 months because my car broke down, and every month they discovered more problems needing to be fixed. They finally ended up needing a whole new engine, has drained all my funds. The beauty part was that it stalled me out in a place that was in many ways enchanted. My first 3 months in Mexico had been pretty chaotic. Culture shock, language shock, everything was so foreign. And I switched to Telcel, Mexican phone company. I didn't understand how it worked. And two things happened from that. One was that I kept running out of data minutes, internet. And I'd suddenly have no apps, no online at all, no GPS, and I was lost an awful lot of the time. The other thing, that unexpected consequence of that, was it never occurred to me to ask if we had insurance, because I've always had insurance on my phones, and I do lose them sometimes. Traveling can be chaotic. And I lost my phone. Turns out nobody down here has insurance. So it's going to be another couple of months after all my car repairs. I just had big car repairs before I can afford telephone service. So I'm using WhatsApp when I'm online, and lots of people use WhatsApp instead of a telephone number down here, because when you're online, you can make phone calls. So all that to say why it's good for me to be in El Diamante. My car broke down about a mile north of this tiny little pueblo of 400 people, which the beauty part of El Diamante is that everybody knows each other and they're sweet to each other. And boy, by the time I was there for 3 months, everybody knew I was the gringo who was not a bad guy, and who this mechanical tower shop had my car. And I hung out at this restaurant, which was very lovely, a big extended family, wonderful people, and they became good friends. Really the most community I've had in my whole time on the road. And when I was broke, they'd let me run a tab, and then I'd clean it up when I got my monthly check from the U.S. It's given me a chance to experience rural Mexican culture in pure form. I wouldn't say this family was peasants. None of them had been to college, but the wife runs the restaurant, the husband runs the hotel. They're business people, and they're good friends with the mechanic, and it was through them that I got to that mechanic. No, actually, he towed me in from the side of the road after 28 hours of frying in the heat in my black camper van on the side of the road. So what I'm identifying, and I'm hesitating to say it's true of all Mexicans, it's absolutely true of rural, and I think in a lesser dose, maybe even in the cities, which is indirectness. You know, the whole laid back thing to a fault. To a fault. It can be so sweet, but they just don't want to have any kind of conflict or confrontation. It's like anathema. Anger, forget that. No. I expressed my little bit of northerner anger in the tienda across the street, which is also family, the daughter-in-law. And I love her, and I now love her staff. But maybe in my first week there, one of the staff people, I've been getting these great half-liter bottles of Coke in glass bottles, and you return them, and it's cheap. It's really a great recycling thing, because plastic on the highway is a scourge in Mexico. The whole thing of beautification and no litter never took hold here. So I go in there. Well, I had not brought with me my returnable bottle, and the girl would not sell me another without returning it. She went all Nazi on me, and I saw red, and just shoved the bottle back at her, not violently, just shoved it and walked out. And to her, that was terrifying. Like, what's going on? Is he going to come in with a gun and shoot us now? Because literally when I went back in there that afternoon, her real good friend from the tienda next door, who has become a friend of mine now, but I didn't know then, I just knew he hung around there, was standing there with a machete. They don't have guns down here. It's hard to get a gun, really hard to get a gun. You can, in your home, to defend your home, and that's it. It's one of the beauties of Mexico. But they use machetes as tools. They don't have weed whackers, no. They clear the brush with machetes. So most every household has a machete. He was standing there, he came right up next to me, and personal space is not the same in Mexico either. They stand really close, just in general, passing on the street, yeah, absolutely, it's quite a distinct difference. So he came just a few inches from me and holds his machete between us and says, what's the English translation for machete? Oh man, I thought, you fucker. I know exactly what you're up to. She said that I'm a potentially violent guy and you're laying down the law. Oh, I saw red again, and I played that one pretty cool. I said, machete, fucker. I did not. So by now, I'm good friends with both of them. But that's the way it is around expressions of anger. So my best friend down here is the woman who runs the restaurant. Fabulous 40-some woman, mother of two. Really cool woman. But the other thing I'm noticing, at least in that, I don't know how much of it is really small town, because that's a super small town, 400 people. And she had spent time in the U.S. for 10 years, but she's got that small town mindset. And the whole family, this paranoia about dangers lurking in the world. The grandfather, the brother-in-law, they all will lay trips on me about, don't go down the back roads, it's too dangerous. It's so rural and pastoral. Don't be on the streets in Vega, this small town where I am right now, by yourself, it's dangerous. No! Don't go to Martinez, 60,000 person town, which I love. It's exciting after where I've been. I love going there. Oh, they'll steal your money. If you take money out of the bank, there will be people there watching to see who's taking. Ridiculous. I made a little YouTube video. Help me find the hardened criminals lurking around the bank area of this Coppel store, because I'm told that's what happens. And that got the most hits of almost anything I put up, because it was such a fun little game for all these, nice, sweet people in that store. So my friend just keeps laying this danger, and I said to her yesterday in a text message, you guys are all so spiritual. She's Catholic, I think, and the other part of the family are Jehovah's Witnesses. I said, what's going on with your pastors that they're not teaching you to believe in the love of God and that you're safe? Even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall not fear. Well, I got that. 3 years on the road. I'm not scared of shit, pretty much, or anybody. No, I'm not. And I'm a Chicagoan. Come on, give me a break. So Martinez, no. So I told her in so many soft ways. Around the table, I play it for a joke. And then I sent her long text messages saying, you obviously don't know who I am and what I've been through in 3 years on the road. I've been carjacked at knife point. I've been punched and given a concussion. I've had all this shit that I've survived. No, I'm not scared of this place. This is like dreamland. It's so sweet and safe. There's no guns here. I was in Texas where you piss somebody off and they'll shoot you and they know they'll walk. No, it's safe here. But you won't buy it. You won't buy it. And when yesterday she pushed one more time, hey, if you're going to that Independence Day party in the park, oh, that's going to be dangerous. You got to really be careful. And I knew that was not true. It turned out to be such a deliriously sweet time. Great dance with cumbia music. Oh, it was incredible. So finally I said, you're not staying there anymore. My car was parked in their backyard while they were waiting for a new engine behind the hotel. So I was so interwoven in their lives, I couldn't break free. But now that my car is running and I'm over in this adjoining town, and won't go back because the street dogs that I'd gotten so close with would just get confused. I'm a big dog person. So I won't go back. So I'm free now. And so when one last time she tried to make me join her in this paranoia about how dangerous the world is, I had to set a limit. Because after I got this message from her, I went, geez, am I missing something? I started to almost get creepy. Like, what, is there danger? And I said, no, it's her bullshit. tell her it's your bullshit. And I didn't say it that directly, but I got straight with her. The long text message, I said, you cannot do this to me anymore. And I've tried in every kind of soft way to tell you to stop it, but you won't stop, and I'm drawing a boundary. One of the great dialectics that I get from Brene Brown is open heart and solid boundaries, and you got to have both. I used to be an expert at the open heart, but not the solid boundaries. But I'm pretty good at solid boundaries now. I didn't give her anything near what I've given some other people. But I said, stop. You have to stop. If you want our friendship to survive, you must stop. And I said, it's your stuff. It's not my stuff. I will not join you in all this fearfulness about the world. And she wrote back, and she was obviously disturbed. And she said, well, I guess some people don't want love, because that's the way I give love. And I wrote back and said, that's not my definition of love. No. My definition of love is to see me as I am, to reflect me back accurately. And you're treating me like I'm a child. Like, I'm the one who killed there was a violent dog attacking our dogs. I killed him with a knife. Yeah, stabbed him with a knife. That was new for me and shook me up like, whoa. But I knew I had to do it because nobody had guns around there, and that dog was incredibly vicious. So I said, Ellie, I'm the one who killed the dog. Who around here would have done that? And you think I can't take care of myself? Shit. I didn't swear at all. Not at all. But I may never hear from her again, or at least it's probably going to rupture the relationship. But, so the dialectic, it has any absolute. When you make it an absolute to not hurt anybody's feelings, it becomes poison. It becomes... And it's a variation on the whole kindness campaign that I experienced back in Asheville, North Carolina, in the mountains. Very progressive, hip town, which I love. But the kindness campaign there, even the really, in some ways, nice system of nonviolent communication. I forget the guy's name. I actually took a course with him at one point. It's kind of famous. But you have to walk around with the manual to know how you're supposed to talk. Well, I kind of have a feeling about this, and it goes back to that, and doesn't have anything to do with you, obviously. No, you can't get in somebody's face and say, stop it, stop it. No, you're not allowed to do that. So this is similar to that, and I've had big gripes with that, and I really let people know what I thought about that. No, straight talk, integrity. Today, I've been rehearsing a conversation in which I would say, I'm claiming my integrity. Because I was out of integrity with you. And then the thing that happened this morning was that once I get back in integrity with somebody, it's like my integrity barometer says, okay, where else? Where else are you out of integrity? Well, their friend, the mechanic, 4 tries to get... He's not a businessman, and his business is kind of out of control, and that's part of why he missed a whole lot of appointments with me, because he's running here and running there. But he's just not a businessman at all, and he may not even have records of how much I gave him. But because it was all in pesos, I didn't keep a record of it either. And it's got to be over $2,000, and it's a lot of money. I live on a Social Security check. It's left me busted every month, feeding him more and more and more. I don't think he did anything dishonest, and I think he repaired it well. It's running great. But I've asked him at least 4 times to give me a sum total. I don't need an itemized bill. Just let me know how much I dropped here. And he hasn't done it. So this morning I sent him a real straight WhatsApp message too, and I copied it to his real good friend, who's her husband, and said, I was really happy to get my car back, but if you do not get me that bill, which is looking like you're just not going to do it, I'm going to leave very unhappy, very disappointed, angry at you. I used the word angry. I think I used the word angry. And I won't be in El Diamante, so I can't ruin your reputation. But by God, if I live there, if you don't get me that bill, it's like a basic, man. If you don't do that, and you don't seem to even want to take the time, you're just so busy fixing cars. I didn't say, but what I was thinking was, if I was in El Diamante, I would, by God, tell people, don't go to him. He fixes cars good, but he's a wreck. He's irresponsible. I would say that. I'm mad. So once you claim your integrity in one area, it starts to bloom, builds on itself. It gets viral. So, good. that's all I need to say about that. Y'all have a good day. From El Diamante, where we had a big celebration for Independence Day. That's what the last straw was, her saying it's going to be so dangerous. No, it's cumbia dancing around the corner there. I got deliriously happy. Oh my God. And it started super late. It was supposed to start at 8 and it started at midnight. I think the cumbia band was late in arriving. I can't figure any other reason, but it was so fun. So fun. Okay.